Hello, Internet, are you there? It's me, Clay. I'm just calling to say what's up and talk to you about some fantastic Kickstarters that are happening right now. So hopefully some people are jumping on here soon. I see a few people, and I'm going to bring in some of these fabulous creators because you didn't come to hear me talk. You want to talk to these fantastic people. So let's add some folks. And we got a lot of creators. We got a crowded house right now, and we might get even more crowded. I'm gonna go.
Where's Frida?
You know what? Frida is on the run from the feds at the moment, so she cannot show her face right now. But she would be here if she could, because she loves humanity and loves talking to people, as you all know. Yeah, so I'm gonna Brady Bunch style. I guess I'm gonna go. I don't know if everybody's seeing like the same configuration here, but I'm gonna go top to bottom, left to right. Wait, is there somebody else down here? There's somebody else down here waiting. Oh, look. Check it out. Oh, it's Mr. Tyler James.
Look at that. What's up, everybody?
This party is jumping.
It really is now.
It really is now. So
That's
yeah,
right.
ooh, he brought the thunder. Okay. So what's this about? Well, you know, we're just chatting Kickstarters. There's some fantastic creators here, and we're gonna add one more because why not? We can, because I paid for the upgrade. We got David Schrader in the house now. So I said I was gonna go around, and then I just started randomly calling people out. So I'm full of crap. So we got I'm going around the horn here. We got Moana. Say hi, Moana.
Hi, everybody. Aloha.
Yeah, we got Ryan, the original.
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
That's the original Ryan right there.
The original.
We got Eddie in the house. Yeah. We didn't hear you, Eddie. Can you talk again?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
No.
He's saying something really funny right
How
now.
about now without my headphones?
Oh, yeah, that works. That works.
That works.
That's hilarious. All right. No headphones.
All right. We got Rob Krish. What's up?
Hi. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you.
Robert?
Yeah. Mr. Schraderopoulos himself, David Schrader. He doesn't
Said he
care.
was having some sound issues too.
Oh, he's having sound. I thought he was trying to tell Eddie that Eddie was having sound
that's
issues.
funny.
Okay.
He's just ignoring you.
As usual. This is par for the course. So we got Tyler James in the house. What's up, Tyler?
What's up, everybody? Good to be here.
Yeah, good to have you. We got James Powell.
What's up, everybody? How you doing?
Yeah. And last but certainly not least, we got Newton Lillevoix.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Salutations.
How are you? Salutations. I like it. And Terry Mayo says, look at this collection of amazing people. Love it.
Right.
We love you, Terry. Thanks
Love
for
you, Terry.
yeah, thanks for joining us. So listen, we got a full house tonight. So we got a lot of great projects to talk about. And we're talking Kickstarter projects, mostly comics, but we got some other like great books like kids books, children's books, like a coloring book, activity book. So many great things. Some of the stuff that we're going to talk about is maybe not safe for work. I hope nobody's working right now.
But that's the kids' books, right? Is that
that's the kids' books. Yes.
No, we went deep. It went dark real fast.
We got Eric Weinstein saying hello, Clay. Hello, Eric. Right back at you. Good to see you here. Thanks for tuning in. Yes, so our not safe for work kids books. We've got not safe for work adult books. We got all ages books. We got all kinds of things to talk about. Let's start with this is a safe for work children's book. You don't have to be worried here. Let's talk to Moana and Ryan about your book. I'm going to pull this up and as promised. Now that we're live, I don't know how anything works. So I'm trying to like host this thing and oh, here we go. All right. I'm going to try to share my screen and you can talk about your book. Share screen. Let's do it.
Great.
Is it sharing? Entire screen?
It's probably
Window? Let's do a window. What happens if I share this window? Hey, we're learning, everybody. Are you seeing their project?
This is what happens in the children's book we learned.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah.
Chrome has lost permission to capture your screen.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So listen, no, I don't want to leave the site. So hey, you know what? We won't be sharing the screen. We're just going to be talking.
Clay, can you just describe the screen as you scroll through it?
This will be like radio. I'm going to describe the screen, and it'll be fantastic. So Moana, why don't you and Ryan talk about your book, and I'll just start describing the screen.
Great. I am sharing the screen, so if you want to share my screen.
How do I do that? That sounds
You can
fantastic.
just add it to the stream, kind of like you add the people to the stream.
Really?
Hello.
Okay. Oh, add to stream.
See, teamwork makes the dream work.
Boom.
Ooh, yeah, love it.
Alrighty, so we're on Kickstarter. We're back. This is our 6th project. My name is Moana McAdams, and here at Burning Spear, we create both children's book and comic books. Our first project, our current project is The Adventures of Nakoa and Nohea companion coloring and activity book. This is a follow-on from our successful Kickstarter for Shadows of the Ancient that we ran back in December. Ryan and I wanted to create a companion book to go along with the story, give kids some fun things to color. And we do mean kids of all ages because everybody can enjoy this. We do view this as an all ages book. It's a fun story, whimsical fantasy. If you are a fan of The Lord of the Rings, it's a little bit of Lord of the Rings, Avatar, Goonies, lots of good fun stuff. This particular coloring book is introducing folks to Shadows of the Ancient. And we also have some content for our first book, Fishing Day with Papa Ray. So here on the campaign, you can grab the coloring and activity book. You can also pick up the children's book series. And then we also have our comic book series, The Wild Card Chronicles, which is an Afrofuturistic 2-wheel thrill ride. That is a really fun story that we publish here at Burning Spear Comics as well. And Ryan is my illustrator, and I'll let him talk a little bit.
And Moana, can you scroll down so we can see some of
sorry.
those
See, like
fantastic...
I'm multitasking.
It's tough to multitask.
Sorry, yes.
But yeah, these are some of Ryan's beautiful, beautiful drawings.
Does it show that? Okay, yes. Yeah. I will keep going now. But yeah, Ryan, you can go ahead and...
Yeah, I'm the illustrator for book 2. Moana had a different illustrator for book 1 for Papa Ray, but she hired me to do book 2, and I was very honored for that. With this, we decided to change it up. I decided to age the characters. Well, we both did, but because of the fact that the story is a little bit more mature, a little bit more, pushed and more fun, I guess, because of the fact that we decided to go more of a fantasy route, but also pertain to the original stakes of what Hawaii is about. It's more of a culture-based book, and we also wanted to have an element of fun but fantasy at the same time. So I decided to change a lot about the original book and make it my own. But keep the same aesthetic of what book 1 was. It's really, how I say, not a reboot, but a very Terminator 2 Judgment Day sequel kind of thing. So that's how I can describe it. Like you have,
I like it,
James Cameron's Terminator, but then we push it like, T2 style. Like we got some raw stuff in here. And it's a lot of fun, and we changed it up a lot, but the story is very, very fun. And it leaves with a nice little cliffhanger, which I enjoy. But the art I wanted to push, I wanted to add a lot of color, a lot of brightness, a lot of more atmosphere in the book, and really push the boundaries from book 1 to book 2. And,
the coloring is fantastic. All of the art is fantastic, but that coloring, it just pops so much. And now, so Shadows of the Ancient was your children's book that you did right before this. You kickstarted right before this. So this is like an activity book that goes along with it.
Correct.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's a companion activity book where you have the opportunity to color your own version of Shadows of the Ancient, but also Moana has added, activities, writing activities, positive activities for body, for just everyday life, which I enjoy. Like it's fun. She put a lot of work into this. So we are really hoping that everybody backs it and supports this, because it only pushes us to do more and get us to book 3 and really push the boundaries of what we can do for the next book. So it's something that is as vital to book 2 as for this activity book. They pretty much go hand in hand together. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right on. Cool. So what's your goal for the activity book? What's the monetary goal for Kickstarter?
2,500 is our goal for this particular campaign, and we're keeping it short.
It's real short. It's real short.
So how many days do you have left?
We have 8 days left. We end next Friday. So
8 days left. You still have to raise how much?
Let's see where we're at. We're at just about 1,200. So we're almost halfway there.
All right. Awesome. So you got just a few days to get on it. Where can everybody find your book? Do you have a nice little handy link?
I do. And I think it's in the comments, Clay. I don't know if I can share that part.
Let me see. I can grab it. Hold on. And I can put it in the comments.
Yep.
I think.
If you go to Moana the author, like the Disney princess, the author.
Yeah. All right. So I just posted. I don't know if that goes to YouTube or Facebook or everywhere, but I'll make sure everybody can find links later on. John Westhoff says, wow, what a group. Thanks for tuning in, John. Appreciate it. Yeah. And speaking of the group, everybody feel free, just because I'm, this is on my page or whatever. I don't have to be the one talking all the time. If somebody wants to ask a question or make a comment, please be the peanut gallery. All right, cool. So it's moanatheauthor.com. Tell us the name of the book one more time.
Shadows of the Ancient. And it's The Adventures of Nakoa and Nohea is the name of the series. It's a little bit of a mouthful, but it's fun. I promise.
I love it. Awesome. Well, let's move. Let's see. I want to get, because I know some of you guys are on the East Coast, so I want to try to get some of my East Coast people up first, because I know you might have to go to bed soon. I know I'm in Central Time and it's well past my bedtime already. So, Newton, let's hop over to you and chat about your book. So what's up, man? How's it going?
It's going good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Be here with everyone. It's been a while since I've been online with a few of you guys, and this is my first time online with the other half. What's up, Tyler? Big shout! I want to give a shout out to Tyler, because he's one of the 2 reasons why I started doing Kickstarters. The first was Spike from Iron Circus. She had a PDF, and she produced this book that showed you a step-by-step on how to do a Kickstarter. And then after that, I was like, all right, this is what I'm definitely going to do. But then I started listening to Tyler's podcast, and I was like listening to it religiously for it must have been a year before I launched. And, by the time I launched, I was super ready. So big shout out to Tyler.
Well, man, you've taken the ball and run with it. It's been so thrilling to see just the books that you've been able to put out and the following that you've got over on Kickstarter. It's been amazing, man. So, all the props to you and your team. You've been doing great books.
The student has become the master.
That's right.
Yeah, I wish. But yeah, like I said, and I'm really grateful that you invited me. It's always great to be amongst fellow creators and fellow Kickstarter project people, because you guys understand the journey. It's got its ups and downs. This is definitely one of the up parts. But yeah, with that said, I'm going to get into my Kickstarter a little bit. So it's Keisha Demon Eater. It's a new series that Gene, Carlo Bernal, and I are working on. So this is volume 1, and a little backstory. It follows Keisha. She's a high school student who's born and raised in Louisiana, but she accidentally releases a demon, and she becomes possessed by that demon, and that demon attracts the attention of a demon hunter. So now she's possessed by this demon, and she's being tracked down by a demon hunter. So her family's concerned, and they send her away to an aunt, and a strange aunt in Kansas, in this small town, because this aunt apparently knows how to exorcise demons. So she's sent there, and then she realizes, like, hey, this town is very dangerous. Like there are like dangerous things in the town that she needs her demon to actually help her survive. So she kind of reestablishes her relationship with the demon while she tries to overcome the horrors of the small town in Kansas. So that
sounds awesome.
Yeah,
that sounds awesome. Now, can you share your screen, because we've established I cannot, and so I would love to see some of that sweet art that you got going on there.
Yeah, sure. So I'm not.
Close all your tabs, hide all the naughty stuff you've been looking at, and
all right, that's gonna take me a while. Hold on, no.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to figure out how to share.
Oh, here we go. Yep.
You can see it?
Yes. I think maybe Moana pulled that up. Check it out. She's like associate producer
Is
here.
that Moana?
Yeah, I got this. Just direct me. I got you.
Okay.
All right.
Let's see. Good looking out, Moana. See? Look at it.
Yeah. So you've got 8 days left. 8 days to go.
So good. I'm sorry. It's so good.
It's so good, isn't it?
Yeah. Shout out to Gian, my artist. In fact, today's his birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
It's a belated birthday because they have a 12-hour difference. So I think it's already like May 20th over there. So
he's in the future.
Yeah, he's in the future. So happy birthday, Gian. Big shout out to him. Gian, Carlo Bernal, the amazing artist of both Crescent City Monsters and Keisha Demon Eater. So what you see there is the colored version, colored by one of my favorite colorists, Paris Allen.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Newton, I saw that this book, he does a little bit of color in the interior too, like just little splashes, right? Is that the first time, or did any of the Crescent City books have that?
So that's the first time. We did a secret project that I can't talk about that never saw the light of day. That's still waiting to come out for someone, and we did a splash of color there. It's better to experiment on somebody else's book than yours, and it turned out to work out great. So we decided to do the same thing for Keisha.
Yeah, his stuff just couldn't be any more distinctive. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's hard. It's pops. This is fire.
Yeah, when I so originally Gian wasn't gonna do it in grayscale, but I asked him, hey, can you apply some grayscale to the illustration? And I sent him, at that time I was a big fan of The Walking Dead, so the sample I sent him about grayscale was this Walking Dead pages, right? But then he came back with this, and I was like, okay, I think this works out better. Yeah,
you got a good thing.
Well, it reminds me of when you see it, like very lush black and white, like 1940s film. It's just the color scale is like the best black and white I've ever seen.
Yeah, he does an amazing job. The incredible thing is he does the grayscale work quicker than he actually draws. I thought it was about the
really,
yeah, but he takes a lot of care in his illustrations. That's why it takes him a little bit longer to draw a page than grayscale it.
Amazing. So you've got 8 days left. Is that true?
Yeah, I wanted to end on a Friday because it's Friday, and I was like, why not?
Right.
Fridays. So yeah. So then it turns out, and I didn't want it to be longer than 3 weeks. So since I launched on a Tuesday, I decided, all right, I'm gonna end it on the next 3 Fridays later. So it turns out to be a little less than 3 weeks. It's like 2.5 weeks.
Cool. And so is this like an all ages book? Is it more like
no, it's not an all
older reader? Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I guess you could say 13 plus.
Okay. Yeah.
Have you guys ever read the like Comixology has like their official definitions of what the ratings are? And it's like it's down to like you can read it. It's like how many F-bombs and in what context are you using an F-bomb will determine whether it's like 15 plus or 13 or 17. It's kind of funny.
I need to check that out, Tyler. I definitely need to cross-reference the F-bombs.
And how you're using it, because if you're using it to in one context, it'll snag you. Like, I don't know that anybody actually goes by that, but it's actually pretty funny to have somebody over there that was like, oh, all right, we have to make some rules here. You get.
So does it ever count in comics? Because they usually use the special characters to curse out or kind of bleep out the words. So I wonder if it's technically cursing.
So how many F-bombs in your book, Newton, and in how many different contexts?
About 323 in about 10 different contexts.
Nice.
There are no F-bombs at all.
So you got all the contexts.
Yeah, all the contexts.
All 10.
Yeah, no F-bombs at all, but it is a little bit gory in certain parts.
Yeah,
because
it's funny how you walk up and down Artist Alley sometimes, and parents will be like, "Is there any nudity or swearing?" No, and then they'll like grab like a horror book where somebody's being dismembered. All right, that's fine.
I think that's America for you, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yes, yeah, for sure. So are there any special rewards that you want to call out? Because you're fully funded, right? And you're going for some stretch goals now.
Yeah, so I try to keep this Kickstarter simple. So I wanted it to be a short time, and so I just stuck with the books. Like a lot of the rewards are based on books. So we have a regular Keisha cover, then we have 3 variant covers. One of the variant covers is actually a colored cover. I just want to point out though, although the cover's colored, the interior is not. I don't want people to get too excited, like, oh, this is the colored version, and then pop it open and go, oh, wait a minute. But yeah, so that's something extra special, the colored cover. And then I also have a tier where it collects all books into one tier, all variant covers and standard covers, and then there's what I call the Dream Fury collection, which also includes volume 1 of Crescent City Monsters. So it's basically everything we've ever produced.
Sweet. Well, I highly recommend, if people don't know Crescent City Monsters, check that out, but definitely get this book. Can you tell us what's the pretty link or the short way to get there if you got it? If not, I will.
Yeah, the
full length here.
The shortest is you can type in Keisha.rocks. That will take you directly to the
Keisha.rocks. So KISHA.rocks.
Yep. That'll take you directly to the Kickstarter page. Or it'll redirect you to.
Oh, I put that in the wrong thing. Hang on. Need a producer here. All right. Keisha rocks, right?
Yep.
Did I get that right?
Yep, there you go.
Awesome. She does indeed. The book rocks indeed. Newton, that's awesome. Thank you very much for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
All right. I'm gonna hop to, let's see. I think Tyler, you're an East Coaster, right? You got a bedtime you got to get to.
I put my boy down, and so I'm all right. But yeah, if you want to just jump around, I'm happy to go.
Yeah, sure. I hope you put him down like in the to bed way and not like the injured horse way.
Yeah, no, he after Tubby and swimming practice and everything else that he gets up to, he went down pretty easy tonight. So
nice.
No horse
nice
tranquilizer necessary.
Good. All right. So no F-bombs in your book in any context, right?
Absolutely no F-bombs. Some words you probably can't pronounce or we'll definitely have trouble pronouncing. Our sort of special link is xmas.cisforcthulhu.com.
xmas.cisforcthulhu.com. Let's see if I spelled this right.
And I think that's it.
Does that look right?
That looks right. Yeah, you spelled it right, I think.
Woohoo! All right. Who says Cthulhu is hard to spell?
So we have a project that is live right now, which is the 10th project for the C is for Cthulhu brand, which is a brand that I've been building since 2014 with writer Jason Chiaramella, who great sort of Eisner-nominated writer of comics. Also, has done a lot of work with Joe Hill adapting his books for comics. That most known for a series like The Cape, and then also there's an illustrator named Greg Murphy. And so Jason, Greg, and I pooled our heads and resources back. Started talking about this probably around 2013. Shortly after I, finally got into the Kickstarter game, and Jason had the idea for an ABC book featuring the characters from the mythos of H.P. Lovecraft. And so we launched it, and the first book was like a wild success on Kickstarter, and has just grown from there. So after that, we started doing plush toys, and got a little plushie right here. And so now we're on our 10th launch, which is for a holiday book, sort of the Christmas book. We've sort of, as someone with a toddler at home, I now have a lot more familiarity with the children's book space. And so we basically sort of followed the model of a lot of like the successful children's book where you put out a couple books in the series and then you get around it, and now it's time to do your Christmas book. So it's time for us to do our Christmas book, and that's what we're launching here on Kickstarter.
Now, did you, when you launched your very first C is for Cthulhu book, did you have any idea it was going to be like this much of a success? And you guys do big numbers.
Yeah, I mean, we have like across the 10 campaigns, we've had over 5,500 backers.
Wow.
Now some of those backers have and that doesn't include like I think altogether now we've had over 10,000 backings on Kickstarter, but obviously there's overlap from campaign to campaign.
Sure.
But it's a lot. These are big things, and I'll be perfectly honest. Like I had no idea. Like I was not even familiar with the work of H.P. Lovecraft. I didn't really know exactly what Jason was talking about when he pitched this to me at first. But he's also somebody I really looked up to and figured he knew what he was talking about. And when I heard his vision, and then found sort of by mistake or just by happenstance, like the perfect artist to bring it to life, it just kind of came together. And so I thought it would do well, but I didn't have any context because it was sort of like we were starting an audience building effort from scratch.
Right.
But that was also a great thing, and part of the reason why I think I was able to create a course about Kickstarter and work with so many creators on their launches is because I got to I did my Kickstarter thing, had a couple of successes in the comic space, and then I got to start from scratch with a completely brand new brand where I basically took it for granted that like, hey, you know what? This is children's books. I've done only comics before and more adult themed, like older comics. And this is a market that I didn't know anything about, but I got into and I started learning about and researching and how can I reach these people? And just that exercise of like, hey, let's start from scratch, allowed me to like really get a handle on like, oh, okay, like this is something that is actually can be systematized a little bit. And and you can do it. And so it turned out like this was actually we were able to like really hone in on who the perfect person for this book was. And it turned out it was pretty easy to find them online using tools like Facebook ads and marketing and groups that already existed and everything. But Seas for Cthulhu is, I mean, like now fast forward another 8 years and it's, like Lovecraft / Cthulhu is one of those like keyword Kickstarter brands that like, it's like, oh, okay, that's going to pop because there's an established audience for that stuff. But, when we did our first launch, there were a few big projects that had succeeded, but we're kind of like one of the OG Cthulhu brands on Kickstarter, but sort of in our own lane, in the children's book lane.
That was my next question for you, because it does seem like everybody and their mother now has a Cthulhu or Lovecraft themed book. And it does seem like this must have been one of the first because you've been doing it forever.
Yeah, there were a few before us, and there were even a few Lovecraft themed for younger audiences stuff that came out around the time that we did, or even a little bit before. So our other thing was like, okay, when we get into this space, we are going to be best in class.
Right.
And so like, if you compare like, like some of the other stuff was not full color. The art, kind of had a lot less polish, still did pretty well. But we thought like with Greg Murphy's visual style, we could really stand out in that, it's a painted, like fully painted, rich colors. And it's something that, the audience just really reacted to and people got really excited about. And so, so we rolled it from there. Now, fast forward a few years, and we sort of had the team had a little bit of a dilemma with Greg because, Greg instrumental in designing the book, designing the plush toy, like the model for the plush toys, but end up, with his career progressing, took a role as a head art director at one of the top toy companies in the world, and they sign special contracts and things where once you're working for the man, you can't moonlight, and anything that you create while there belongs to them. So
yikes.
We sort of had to let Greg step back, and we had to find someone to step in to visually to keep moving this series forward if we wanted to keep doing it. And it just so happened, like inside the Comics Launch Pro community, there's a children's book illustrator that, was actually one of the very first, he was in the very first group of creators that I helped launch their first Kickstarter. And that's Joshua Janes. And so Joshua Janes is a, professional children's book illustrator. And when we realized that Greg could not contractually and legally do more art for the series, we found Josh to step in and sort of take what Greg had done visually and continue it on in his own style. And so, so the artwork that you're seeing on the page and with the new book is Joshua Janes. He also did our last book, which was a book that we launched last year called Counting Colors in Cthulhu, and that was our biggest Kickstarter success to date. And so, we're excited about this new one. It's basically Jason as kind of a lark. Like this, wasn't even intended to be a Kickstarter book, but when we did a Kickstarter launch a few years ago for Santa plush toys, Santa Cthulhu plush toys, and that was because our audience, like sometimes we would put a little Santa hat on our Cthulhu icon around the holidays, and people would ask us like, "Hey, where can I buy the Santa Cthulhu? Like, I couldn't find that on your website." I'm like, "Oh, it doesn't exist," but thanks to Kickstarter, you can make that stuff exist when you hear about it. So a few years ago, we did a launch around making Santa plush toys, and Jason just, one night penned his version of The Night Before Christmas as like a little poem, but did a Lovecraftian version of it. And we actually shared it as a stretch goal with the audience as just the poem format, and they loved it. And we got like a ton of caress. Oh, that's got to be a book, and so Josh was game, and we said let's turn that thing that Jason penned just for fun into our next book.
That's when you got a good thing. And you can get that plushie on your campaign now. Is that true?
Absolutely, yeah. The plush toys are available. We have it's crazy. I mean, there are plush toys are available in 12-inch size and our baby 6-inch size. So you can see there. And we have compatible Santa suits for both sizes that can be mixed and matched with all our different plush colors. So yeah, things got a little crazy with. You think variants for comics are one thing. We have the variant plushes to the 9, and then the cool stretch goal thing that we've unlocked one, and we have another one coming up relatively soon. We are less than $70. We're $73 away from greenlighting a second new plush toy of one of the other characters from the board book. So we're going to be finally expanding and offering plushes for other Lovecraftian characters beyond Cthulhu.
Something tells me you're going to get there.
We got 50 hours to go. We're ending at midnight on Saturday, this coming Saturday, and tomorrow will be a big day of beating the drum as loud as we can for the final home stretch. We tend to get pretty strong home stretches. I'm pretty confident that we'll crack that 1,000 backer mark again, and hopefully unlock a couple more stretch goals along the way.
Sweet.
Well, Tyler, is that? I had a quick question. Has every Cthulhu book campaign been bigger than the last?
No. No, they haven't. Usually they've sort of ebbed and flowed a little bit, and so like the first couple all increased, but what we found is we took a break between. But there was like a 4-year break between Sweet Dreams Cthulhu and our last book, which was Counting Colors in Cthulhu. And Sweet Dreams was our best launch at the time. It did a little over 90, but then all of the launches after that were sort of no book, but a supplementary thing like a Cthulhu, like a Santa plush, or we did a pillow launch. We did a couple of just like product launches that gave us the opportunity to, sell more books and things. And those all did well, but they didn't do as well as the books. And then it wasn't until we did that next book for Counting Colors in Cthulhu that we finally blew past the $100,000 mark. And that one ended up doing like 130. And that was kind of crazy. But, one thing that I will say is like going into this launch, I did not have expectations of beating that last launch, in part because, you'll notice if you actually dig into this campaign and a lot of the campaigns that are kind of bigger campaigns is that, it's not just the book that you're selling, right? It's the plush toys and things like that. And so like, I have no doubt that if I wanted to, this campaign could have already been over $100,000, but that would probably require me selling stuff before I was ready to sell it. If I put the plush toy that we just said that we're going to now start development on, like if I just said you could order that and it was $50, like we'd have 100 people that would order it, right? But I don't like to, I like stuff to be further along in production before I do that. And then also just the more products that you add to a campaign, the bigger the scope of the project is, the more fulfillment it is, the more time it takes on the back end to fulfill. And the more money that you end up tying in inventory, because these aren't things that you can with how we price them and how we produce them. Like we're not just making these to order, like to like offer like a new color. It's a 300 unit minimum or 300 to 500 unit minimum, depending upon the size and things like that. So you're talking thousands and thousands of dollars. So it's like, yes, I could say, okay, hey, here's this, it's available. and that would like instantly raise like $5,000, but because a bunch of people would upgrade their pledge, and we get a good surge. But I also need to understand what you just significantly raise the cost of what your project is to fulfill. So the last Kickstarter campaign, I didn't care about that. I was like, you know what, this is the $100,000 plus one. We're going for it. This time I'm like, I don't need to like this isn't an ego thing. I want to maximize like our reach but yeah, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we did. I think we probably shouldn't have done plush toys for Cannibals on Mars, Claire.
Yeah, that was probably a bad idea.
Yeah,
that was probably a bad idea.
I'm going to blame you for that idea.
Well, I thought for like the victims we were saving, because we weren't having to make like a whole plush toy, right? It was just like a torso or maybe like a chunk out of the leg or something. I thought there would be some savings there, but yeah. Anyway.
Tyler, I have a stretch goal idea. You should put some Jordans on the plush toys, some Air Force Ones. Yeah,
some Air Force Ones.
I think that would be hot.
Yeah. Our audience is not shy about asking for stuff. You know, I've got a guy that's requested like 10 times to make a camouflage version, like a GI Joe like camo commando one. I don't know that we'll ever make that, but I did ask one of our artists to could you mock that up for him and see if he'll be happy about that. So we got a live stream scheduled for tomorrow to celebrate the ending of the launch, and we'll try to share some of that fun stuff.
Awesome. Well, it looks like another great book, another great success. If you're out there in internet land and you didn't already know that Tyler is the man who knows everything there is to know about Kickstarter, he's the guy. If you're interested in learning more about it, check out his excellent podcast, the Comics Launch podcast. It's Comics Launch with an X. I guess I should put that in the chat here.
Yeah,
Comics Launch. That's the name of the podcast. Check it out. He's also got some excellent courses that I highly recommend, but the podcast is free, so check it out and check out the new C is for Cthulhu. Yeah. And I was just recommending your podcast yesterday, Tyler, to this gentleman. Hey, Chris, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. And I think you had something going on tonight too, so I'm glad you joined us. Yeah, so excellent. Let's jump over to Eddie, because Eddie, I would love to chat with you, and you were here kind of early, so I want to make sure we talk to you about collectors, because I want to know more about this, because I loved your short that you had in Nightmare Theater. I'm a big Psycho fan, so you were really speaking to me with that one pager you did. So
thank you.
Moana, if you can pull up collectors, what's do you have Eddie, do you have
collectors on Kickstarter.com?
Collectors on Kickstarter.com. Let me type that in. Collectors on Kickstarter.com. We'll pull that up, and if Moana, did I get that correct, Eddie?
You got it exactly correct.
Amazing. I can't type fast, but I type accurately. Yep. And Moana says it's up, so let's take a look.
Yep. There it is. So
nice.
Thank you. So I do a comic strip called Collectors. It's loosely based on my wife and I and my comic book collecting and all the nerdy stuff she puts up with living with me. So if any of you grew up reading the Sunday Funnies in the newspaper, it very much looks and feels like that. And I've been doing the comic strip as a weekly webcomic online for the past 10 years and have collected 6 print volumes of the comic strips. And the first 3 are completely out of print. Collector's items. They're going for thousands on eBay. You can't get them. I don't even have number 3, the third one. I don't even have a copy of that. Anyway, I want to bring them back into print. So this Kickstarter is for a collected trade paperback, a big 200-page collected trade paperback of the first 3 print volumes of my comic strip. and scrolling around. If you scroll down a little bit, you get a little peek of what it's like. I write and draw it. I do everything, write, draw, letter, color, everything, one-man show. So as you can see, it very much has a look and feel of classic newspaper comic strips.
It looks
and
great.
The humor pretty much is based on comics, pop culture stuff, where one person in the relationship is all into that. Hint, it's me. And the other person is not. And what is it like living with someone who has long boxes all over the house, constantly making comic book and movie references, and just is an all-around geek where one isn't. So this book is going to collect those first 3 print volumes that are just no longer available. Because every time I do a show, and it happened at WonderCon, just the past WonderCon, I give people the spiel. I show them, the newest volume, the newest print volume, and they always ask, well, do you have number 1? Can I buy number 1? And I don't have it anymore. But the beauty about my comic strip is you can jump in anywhere in any book and enjoy it. You don't need all kinds of backstory or history. But everybody always wants at number 1. So I want to bring those early books back into print. So here on the page, you see a little sample of some of the comic strips, some of the classic early ones that are in this new volume. And what I think is really neat is I got a good friend of mine who is a cover artist for IDW to do a variant cover for the trade paperback. So Moana, if you scroll a little more, it's going to, there it is right there. So the main cover by me is an homage to the first appearance of Robin with my wife and I as Batman and Robin. And he did one that is an homage to Batman #9, classic Golden Age comic. But he thought, you know what? It would be really funny if we switch it and we make your wife Batman and we make you Robin. So that's what he did here. And it's absolutely, in my mind, I look at it, it is absolutely hysterical. So I love that variant cover. Thank you. Thank you. So this variant cover is available at the $60 level. $60 tier is for both the main cover and the variant cover. And then above the $60 tier, reward tier, you can choose which one you want. So, and then if you go farther on up and do like the highest ones, you do get both as well. So let's see. I don't know what else is on my page here that I can show you, even though I've been looking at it religiously for the past couple of days. I launched on Tuesday morning and was really, really happy with the huge jump out of the gate that I got. It's by far the best beginning of a Kickstarter that I've had. And I really took the time with this one to learn as much as I could before I launched, and kind of looked at my past ones to see what mistakes I may have made that I can correct this time. And it seems to have paid off. So I'm at 64% of my $5,000 goal, and I still have 27 days to go. So there's a lot more I can do here. What's that?
Plenty of time on the clock.
Plenty of time on the clock. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm really happy with how I've jumped out. So that's the $60 level where you get both covers. And then from there, you can get all kinds of other cool rewards, including you can scroll a little more, Moana, and they can show what you get. I got a 3-piece enamel pin set that is my art on enamel pins, including that really cool one in the middle, which is homage of Action Comics #1, but with Captain America smashing the car and little Hitler running away up there, America Comics. And Tyler, I never hear you say this, but I want to throw this out because I don't know if other people like you or other people that work with other creators do this, but can you scroll? Oh, okay. Never mind.
I'll bring it back up.
Okay. This next tier, the $75 one, if you can scroll up a little bit, other creators do it as well, but I think it's really essential. It is a retailer bundle tier. What a lot of people, now David knows this, but the rest of you may not. Besides being an independent creator, I'm also a comic shop owner. And every time I get a lot of indie creators asking me to back their Kickstarter and it's something that I like, I ask them, do you have a retailer tier? And a lot of them don't. And I tell them, if you make a retailer tier where I can buy multiple copies of the same book, rather than just getting one-offs of a bunch of different things, I'll back it and it's going to go right on my shelf in the shop. So I tell a lot of creators that I know that I'm friends with, put a retailer tier in there because you're guaranteed to have me back it and have it go on the shelves of my shop.
Now,
So
can you pimp the shop on the show? Are you comfortable saying the name?
Oh, I'm absolutely comfortable. It's Heidi Ho Comics in Santa Monica. It's one of the oldest still running shops in the country. It's the oldest in Southern California, been open for a little over 40 years. I was not the owner the entire time. I've just owned it for the last, or co-owned it for the last 8 or 9 years. And,
I was going to say, you look great for being that
old. For being over 100, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
It is a very well-known, famous shop here in Southern California.
Yeah, it's got a lot of history to it. And it's got a lot of history for being very indie comic and underground comic friendly. So I try to keep that tradition going. So anybody listening who's going to do a Kickstarter or has one, I really, really recommend, please put a retailer tier on there. And don't just offer a multiple number of books, but also make it friendly to the retailer, i.e. more of a wholesale type price for them. And, you know, because they want to pay what they can make money on.
Right. Yeah, that's
a great tip, Betty. Definitely. It's funny you said that. Like just yesterday, we did have 2 retailer tiers up, but I had a retailer contact me directly, and they're like, you know what I would really like is, and they asked, why don't you have a tier that has this? And I'm like, tell me exactly what you're looking for. And they went and like said something that was like 3 times as expensive as the highest retailer tier I had. I'm like, that's a great idea. In fact, it's right there up on the Kickstarter now.
Yeah.
Feel free to switch. And yeah, it works pretty well.
I try to be understanding of indie creators that obviously they're not a big publishing house where they're paying pennies per copy for their comic. You know, they're going to be paying more because they're doing a smaller print run. And I might be paying more for their book than what I might order from a big, you know, the top 2 or one of the other big publishers. But making it available at a price that is friendly to the retailer, but also affords you to be able to put a little bit in your pocket. Definitely do that. And I think that you will get more retailers, not just to back you, but to put your stuff on their shelves. So little tip I don't hear people talk about a lot, but I do talk a lot about that with all my other creator friends, David included down there.
Yeah, I think we added to Cannibals on Mars. We added a retailer tier, I think, at your suggestion.
And I backed it.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Yeah. And really quickly, and I'll let someone else speak. A couple of the other rewards that I have for my Kickstarter is original art. You can own. I work traditionally still, so I work on pencil and ink on 11x17 board every week when I do a new strip. And those comic strips, the originals, are available as Kickstarter rewards, including, you can see on that tier, sketch cover variants. I don't have a copy in front of me, but the last issue that I did of my comic, I did a small run with a blank sketch cover, and I was offering sketch covers as a reward for the Kickstarter on the last one and also on this one. So, and then you also get the past 3 issues if you want to get the whole library, and you can do that in print or digital. So some of these tiers towards the bottom are for everything. Get the full collector's library, get the enamel pin set, get the original art, get the sketch cover, get it all.
Awesome. And I know Chris thought the retailer tier was interesting. I know he's looking at maybe kickstarting something in the future. So that was a great tip. We also have Don Wynn in the house. What's up, Don? He says hi all, and he thought your variant cover was fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this. The artist's name is Jay Sullivan. He's a longtime friend, and he does a lot of variant covers for IDW for their like G.I. Joe properties, Transformer properties. And the guy is amazing. And when I asked him if he would do that cover for me, he was like, yeah, done. And he said, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it funny. It's going to be perfect. And I love it. It's so funny.
It came out great.
Yeah. And for anybody who knows me and my wife, I think is extra funny to see us kind of really homaged pretty closely. And the way he drew my wife too, my wife has a very distinct laugh, and she laughs a lot, mostly at me. And anyone who looks at that art on that cover, you can hear her laugh in your head while you look at her on that cover. So I love it. It's a great cover.
Awesome. Well, I think we're all going to get to know you and your wife through these books. It looks fantastic. So how many days do you have left?
I still have 27 days. 27 days, and I'm 64% funded, but I'm not letting myself rest. Because of that, I am still going to keep pushing because I definitely want to get past my goal, because I do want to maybe increase the print run, have a good amount of inventory for shows for the next few years. So, but I'm really happy with how it started, and I'm going to keep on going.
Excellent.
Hey, I have a question for Eddie.
Yeah.
I want to know, do you plan on printing any more #1 issues?
I'm not going to. Okay, 2 reasons why I'm not going to do it. It's just so much easier to do the first 3 that are out of print in one big trade paperback. And also, I originally started doing the print comic, in a landscape view like this, because I really just emulated the Sunday Funnies. And then it wasn't until issue 4 I realized, oh, you know what? I got to do it like this, because it is so much cheaper than doing it like this. Okay. So I'm probably not going to print it, because I just don't want to do it exactly the way it was before anymore. And rather than just do, one single issue like this, again, I think it's just so much easier to just do it as a full trade paperback of the first 3. Instead of just selling one book for, this much, I can sell the whole trade paperback to somebody who wants to start from the beginning for this much. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just find it interesting that like you don't have any more copies of #1, but out there they're like super expensive. You
know what? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe one day there'll be a animated TV series, and I won't have any issues of the #1 to cash in on. But all those people that bought it throughout the years, they're going to be putting theirs all up on eBay, signed.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then all those husbands whose wives have been telling them to, get those books out of the house will have finally.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't get it out of the house. Get it on eBay. Yeah. So again, collectors on Kickstarter.com. Real easy to remember. So
awesome. Well, thanks, Eddie. Thanks for dropping by. Hang out for a bit, because we called out Schraderopolis and Cannibals on Mars, and I can see that Moana has that already up. So we're gonna go down the Brady Bunch boxes here. Hang in there with me, guys. We got a little bit more time on the clock. But Schraderopolis, what's up, my man? First man on Mars.
Yeah, I went to Mars do the promo, and it was really.
How was that?
It was good. It was a little more expensive than I wanted, and it probably should have gone towards the Kickstarter. So I'm not.
Well, you shouldn't have gone first class.
I probably shouldn't have. But yeah, things are going okay. Excited about wrapping it up. We're in our last week, and we've been struggling through the dead zone, as it were. I think everyone understands what that is. And sometimes it doesn't. It feels like no matter how much you're hitting hitting the social media or whatever, it just doesn't move much until the last 3-4 days. That's just the nature of Kickstarters. I've kind of come to realize.
Yeah, but you get a big burst there at the beginning, and then a big burst there at the end, and then it's like baby steps in between. In between,
and it's good to have whether you're doing stretch goals or some other things introduced. Like Don Wynn did a movie poster for us, and it's really cool, and every physical backer will get that. But this campaign is really about the book. There's not a lot of extra added value. We have a few variant covers. Ray Anthony Height did an amazing cover. Tony Donnelly is our main artist, and that's his cover that you're seeing there. Ray Anthony Height and Julie Anderson did some really cool variant covers, but there's not like a bunch of them. I don't know. I tried to keep it a little streamlined, and maybe that's good. Maybe it's not. I'm not sure, but I just didn't feel like I wanted to get in on a bunch of other things where, it's a new book. It's a one shot. Like, it's not something that people already know. So, when you have those extras, sometimes it's like, I don't know exactly who would necessarily be getting that. So this is probably the most streamlined campaign I've done. We've done the Nightmare Theaters, and I did Baby Badass Returns, but
and now I feel like the title is a little vague. Cannibals on Mars. Right. Can you tell me what the book is about?
Well, it's a children's book, of course.
It's a children's book. Yeah.
And it's, it started, it was kind of a loosely affiliated with the world of Baby Badass, where, that's a post-apocalyptic book, and there was a throwaway
and that's your
line.
Series. That's your series out.
That's the series that's on hold now, but hopefully it will come back again. My first Kickstarter was Baby Badass Returns. It was the first issue in the second arc of Baby Badass. That was 2019. And it was kind of a throwaway line from that series, like talking about how awful things were on Earth. And someone mentions that you understand that there's cannibals on Mars, and things had gotten so bad that the pilot program, this terraforming program, just kind of got abandoned up there. And so it was a very pulpy title that I thought, kind of spoke for itself. And I love sci-fi horror and like Alien and, Thing and stuff like that, where you're kind of not sure what exactly is the main nemesis, and you're exploring some of that socio-political stuff, except we're doing it on Mars. And Tony Donnelly did some really cool art. He's got a very distinctive kind of retro style. And then Andre Salazar did the colors, which is hand-painted watercolors. It's not done digitally. So he actually gets these pages printed out very large and hand paints watercolors, then we lay them back in digitally. So it's really cool. It's got a distinctive Euro look. If you want to scroll through Moana a little bit further down, you can kind of go fast, because it is a little NS FW.
Not safe for work.
But there's
censored. It's
it's like a horror film. There's like a love scene, and then there's something that happens that kind of like
shield the kids' eyes. Everybody
takes us into something.
This stuff looks great. I love this.
It's a very unique Euro kind of look. It's cool. It's a different type of book, and it's a one shot that maybe leaves itself open to doing one possible follow-up, but it's not a series by any stretch. So you're kind of getting a self-contained story here.
And it's 48 pages.
48 pages. What was that? I heard something.
48 pages. Who did that fantastic lettering? That looks amazing.
Clay Adams.
I've heard of that guy.
He's my partner of Bloodline Comics. He's not only one of the top indie creators. I think you were on a list of the number 4 indie comic creator, Clay. So you should wear that proudly as a badge. Number 4.
Thanks.
And Clay did the lettering. He's done the lettering on, I guess, several of our Nightmare Theater stories and Baby Badass Returns and a lot of all his books. So he's a great letterer. You know him well, don't you, Clay?
I've heard of that. I've heard of him.
Right.
I've heard of him. Yeah.
Right. So
yeah. You got a fan here. Dick Fortunato says, "When is Baby Badass coming back? This book looks neat."
First of all, Dick, that is a great name. I like that. It sounds like you're like a renegade fortune hunter. I like that. Baby Badass could be coming back in 2023. We'll see. There are some things where it's in limbo right now, but it will be back at some point. It will be back. And thank you for the compliment on this book. That's all Tony and Andres and Clay.
No. It all came from you, my friend. And Tony and Andres really make a fantastic team. I'm going to put up. So let's see. We got a little longer link here, but
If you want to scroll down real quick just to see Ray's cover, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just to see Ray and Julie's variant covers, you can keep going real quick down there. That's just there's Julie's cover. It's really cool. And then Ray's, and that was our main artwork for the Kickstarter.
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah. Oh, and there was another thing there. Like you pick a title like that and you think no one's going to ever use that or see it. And I had a Google alert not that long ago, and it pops up Cannibals on Mars. I was like, what is this? And there was a story in the Sun about how like Elon Musk, if he, settles Mars and people are up there and things go bad, they could turn into cannibals. And this was the headline, So I said, well, no matter how crazy ass of a title you pick, like real life seems to sometimes like meet you.
Real life or Elon Musk. One of the two.
That's shy wallflower. That's not an egomaniac. That's right.
So the book is Cannibals on Mars.
Right.
So you can
6 days left, I think. That's it, guys.
6 days left, but you're 75% of the way there. I think Kickstarter Gravity has got your back here.
We hope.
I am certain you are gonna make it. No
doubt.
doubts.
I'm a pessimist by nature, so we'll see.
Well, you wrote a book called Cannibals on Mars, so I did not peg you for an optimist.
Okay.
But I put the link in the chat. I've got the name up here right there. Hopefully I spelled it correctly. Cannibals on Mars.
I believe so.
And everybody should check it out.
Hey, real quick, I just wanted to say, David, and you too, Clay, you guys make the best Kickstarter videos ever.
You're very kind. I think my first one with Baby Badass was really good. It was almost like a little mini movie. It was fun, but trying to like up that every time has been hard. Nightmare Theater has been fun too, because we have a character, Shelley Post Stoker, that's that kind of horror hostess thing, and that's always fun. But yeah, I don't know how important videos are anymore. I think when a few years ago it was more important than it is now, because I don't even know if a lot of people click on those, but we like to have them available in case they do.
So Dave, what do you go by? What is your name? Is it DE? Is it Dave? Is it David?
I'm a Gemini, so I'm all over the place. You can call me Dave or David. DE was what I was using for a pen name to start, because Baby Badass is a little crazy, and I didn't want it to have a negative effect on my day job. But so it's kind of been all over the place. I think I've used all of them, but it's probably not the smartest thing to do. But I go by David mostly.
Well, Renegade Fortune Hunter Dick Fortunato says, I'm backing this puppy.
I'll call you DE.
So thank you, Dick.
Oh, my friend Michael's on there. Yeah.
Yes. He says his high school friends call him Schrader.
They've called me worse, but I'll take Schrader.
Awesome.
Oh, I loved you in Monster Matador as well.
Oh yeah, that's right. Stephen Prince's last Monster Matador. I was a character just called Schrader. Yeah, and it was like a very Arnold Schwarzenegger thing. It was like an ode to Predator, but that was really cool to actually quote unquote be in a comic book myself. That was fun.
Well, I'm going to jump over to James Powell now. We're going to go from hardcore cannibals, not safe for work, to horror, but horror that's maybe a little more family friendly.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So what's up, James? How's it going?
I'm doing great. It's like you were saying, it's a little past my bedtime, but I have another few minutes in me, I think.
All right, good. Yeah, sorry to keep you waiting so
long.
No,
I'm just kidding.
So tell us about House of Fear.
So yeah, House of Fear is a series of stories for kids. My goal is to get them interested in horror. So it's essentially Goosebumps meets Tales from the Crypt. So awesome. So my new campaign collects 8 stories, 176 pages. They're all standalone-ish. There's a couple of Easter eggs in 2 or 3 that show for eagle-eyed viewers that are readers that there's all these kids live in the same town. So my goal is kind of to show that these kids are, you know, sometimes in the same middle school or trick-or-treat in the same neighborhood, that kind of thing. But yeah, the intent originally was to get, because it's for kids, my goal is in the 8 to 12 range. I've always thought that if you meet me at a convention or you back a Kickstarter, kids, you know, 8-year-olds, they don't have a chance. Can't just drive to the comic shop to get part 2, or they can't track me down as easy as mom and dad can. So each issue has always been standalone. You pick it up, you read it, you're done. You can pick it up multiple times, obviously, or find another story that's unrelated. But my goal is always to leave them with a complete story and not have a to be continued like some comics you might find at the comic shop.
Right. And I can say as a father of a 12-year-old going on 13 in a week, kids that age love this book. My son absolutely loves House of Fear. He asks me all the time when the new one is coming out. So I cannot wait to get this book in his hands.
Yeah, I'm excited for him. Yeah, I actually talked to, I was at a convention 6 weeks ago, and I had a mom, I guess she was a grandma, but she mentioned that her grandson wasn't big on reading, and he had read one of my stories years before, and apparently I had suggested not only she read House of Fear, but he go pick up, I suggested things like Bone and Amulet. And after the boy read House of Fear, he was eager to read those other books. And now I guess he's graduated to reading more comics more frequently. And she said that he's actually starting to read some chapter books, and he's just showed some interest in reading where, you know, before, you know, she showed up to the convention, he wasn't interested in reading at all. So that's kind of like a pat on my back. That's exactly what I wanted. I think my goal is to get kids interested in horror, but there's enough action, just a little bit of humor. The stories aren't 400 pages long, so they're not daunting. My goal is just to get a fun, exciting story into kids' hands and go from there. Let them choose what they want to read next. I want my son to like horror movies. He was born on Halloween, and I would be a terrible dad if he turned out not to like horror. So this was kind of my way of kind of graduating in from those all ages comics that he read, you know, as he was 5 and 6, to kind of slowly start to show that there could be more action, more tension, some monsters, put the kids into some dangerous situations, and see how we go from there.
It's his birthright. He's gotta love horror if he's born on Halloween.
Yeah, I will admit I've overdone it a few times as far as movie goes. You know, I'll watch him in the corner of my eye, and he's got the blanket over his head and said, "Dad, what's happening?" But yeah, it's fun. The first movie I saw, I think I was 9, and I saw My Bloody Valentine at the theater.
Yeah.
So I was watching, you know, like this, and it's almost like a rite of passage as far as I'm concerned for a kid to watch a scary movie at a young age.
Right, and be traumatized.
Exactly.
Right? For me, it was Jaws. You know, I think we've all had that movie.
Yeah. How young is Jaws? Can my son's 10. Can he watch Jaws now? Is that
my son watched Jaws when he was 9.
Okay.
And he was a little scared, but to be honest,
that's
a little
kid.
dated at this point.
I can't watch Jaws now. I'm one of those deathly afraid of sharks people where I would walk through a Blockbuster video back in the day, and like you turn a corner and just see the shark out of there and like get that visceral jump. That's awesome. Like, I didn't realize that didn't happen to everybody. Shark.
I was 5 years old. My cousins took me to see Jaws in the theater.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It was
wow.
We lived. It was in a beach town. It was in Ocean City somewhere. And it was a beach town. Like I don't know what they were thinking.
A beach town. That's perfect.
So of course I never really liked going too far into the ocean after that.
Yeah, we did a vacation on Martha's Vineyard one year, and it was like the year after Jaws 4 or whatever was shot like there, and everywhere you looked, there were Jaws figures. It was the worst freaking vacation for me.
And like, it was immersion therapy for your fear.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because some of those horror movies that I grew up watching, are dated now as far as my son's concerned. I still love Alien and Aliens and The Thing. He watches them and he's like, he's interested in the special effects and the storyline, but he's not scared by those shows.
I was going to say, it's probably pretty tame for kids now, Jaws, right?
So I showed him Scary Things to Tell in the Dark, that the movie based on the book, and he was terrified, absolutely terrified. And to me, I was over there laughing because some of the horror is kind of funny. Like that, I think, I don't know, not spoiler alert or whatever, but there's a scene with a girl with a pimple and spiders start popping out. Which now that I say that is just absolutely terrible to show a 12-year-old, but here we are.
Prey on their fear of acne.
Those formative years, right? I mean, I remember the sleepovers, back in the day when you'd have sleepovers with like a bunch of your friends and all sleep, and there would always be a horror movie that we'd pop on.
Right.
It's Chucky or Pet Sematary was a classic. Yeah.
My daughter absolutely loves the Chucky movies. I showed her the original Child's Play not that long ago, and now she wants to binge them all. She got mad at me because I started watching the new TV show without her. So we're gonna have to go back and rediscover some of those old movies.
I hear the TV show is actually pretty good. Like, at least John Lees, who's my go-to for horror criticism, like he's actually a fan of the new TV series.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I had to put on the brakes because I got to go back and watch it with her. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And Don Mancini, the creator, he wrote for Hannibal, and obviously created Chucky. He's an interesting guy. He's an interesting guy writing that Chucky, that little devil. But now you don't have any Chucky in House of Fear. It's all James Powell IP. But
no Chucky, no guns, no knives, no gore and blood. But like I said earlier, some of the kids do get in danger. There's kids versus monsters, and I'll be honest, things don't always end well for the kids.
Yes,
I want to introduce them to the idea that the horror movies, the horror genre, things don't always go well for everybody. And don't get me wrong, it's not necessarily bad endings for the kids. It's just not always the happy ending with the kids, tucked safely into bed. So,
yeah, because you're representing your story from Nightmare Theater in here, right? From the first volume.
I am.
But you've made some changes, right? Because that was for a more adult audience, and you've toned it down a little bit for this one.
So it's funny when I talked to you about Nightmare Theater, I had just finished the script, and hearing that you were doing your book, I was like, oh, I'm in. So I modified the ending so that it was much more, just more graphic. And it ends terribly for the kids in that one. So for the House of Fear version of it, I changed the ending so it's a little bit cleaner, so to speak. And then I reintroduced. I originally had 2 extra pages at the beginning of the story that kind of introduced some ideas about the dad saying, "Don't go play out in the street." And don't talk to strangers, kind of a conversation with the son, which kind of, there's a payoff at the end in the House of Fear version. So there's almost a little hint of a moral underlying it all for the boy, as opposed to the Nightmare Theater, which was just this kid getting into the house of some shape-shifting aliens. And it, like I said, it doesn't go well for him. So
I like it. You gotta introduce kids to, I mean, the thing is that I always liked the grim fairy tales and like the real dark versions of these things. My daughter was always into that. My son was always into that. I think kids can handle more than we think.
I
And
agree.
so I like that you're going a little darker with these, even though it it is like there's no sex, there's no it's I guess it's you don't really see the dismemberment. It's sort of going back to what we were
Right.
saying before.
Yep.
Like there's no F-bombs, there's no sex, there's no real dismemberment, but it does have some darker stuff going on.
Yeah, and I have rules I follow. It's always kids versus monsters, not kids versus other adults. There's no slashers. There's no weapons. And when I talk to people like at conventions, some people see the title House of Fear and they're like immediately turned off. That's too scary for my kids. And that's fine if you want to judge a book based on its title or whatever. But for the title, for me, my goal was to get those kids in the mindset that this is going to be scary. That maybe by reading this, they're kind of pulling a fast one on mom and dad. They need to hide it from mom and dad and read it under the blankets with a flashlight, just to kind of get them more engaged with the idea of horror for entertainment. But at the same time, mom and dad, if they flip through it and read it, they see that it's perfectly clean. There are a couple of panels that push the envelope just a smidge to show there's a little bit darker, or that the witch looks sinister in this panel, or it looks like the kids won't survive or whatever. But that's my goal, is to make something super engaging and gripping for the kids, make it fun. But at the same time, they're not sure how it's going to end. So I think we've done that. I think the series has kind of hit its stride, and some of the stories have that little bit of edge. It kind of walks that fine line, and I think kids will like it.
Yeah, and Patrick Lugo says House of Fear in the house, and he's got a question for you. What's the horror movie youngsters should be sneaking into nowadays?
As far as what's out now, I don't know if there's anything I would have my son sneak into, but the Quiet Place movies are perfect for the kids in the 12, 13-year-old range, I think.
Yeah, they're great. I haven't seen the second one. The first one I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I actually took my son to the second one, and he loved it. It's just that right. It hits that tone. It's certainly scary, and he was on edge, but it was never so frightening that he was like hiding and begging to leave the theater.
Right. A lot of suspense.
Correct. Yep, exactly. And it's funny, as a parent, I say this now, but like I said, I was 9 when I first saw my first horror movie, and it kind of scarred me. And I'm sure my mom back then was saying the exact same thing I'm thinking now. Oh, you don't want to go see that. It's too adult, or it's too old, or too scary, or whatever. But
right.
Look at me. I turned out somewhat okay.
You turned out fine. All right. I'm putting in the chat the link, and if you just want to look it up, it's House of Fear, not House of Here. It's House of Fear.
House of Fear. Yeah, we got 2 volumes up. It's 320 pages total if you're interested in both volumes. And like some of the others have said, it's a fairly streamlined Kickstarter page. I didn't want to add too many things. I just wanted to focus on the content, which is the comics. The only thing I really added was since we have 2 new stories that have never been seen in the House of Fear with this House of Fear branding, I did create the single issue version of that. I have some fans who are diehard collectors, so I wanted to make sure that they had that in their long box too. So
nice. And so your goal is 11,000. You're knocking at the door, right?
Yeah, I think we're at 75% ish.
Okay, all right. And
we got some work to do, but I'm still pretty confident.
I'm just like Dave. I think you're right there. You're gonna Kickstarter Gravity's gotcha. Everybody watching here is gonna go out and back and look for House of Fear. How many days do you have left?
5. Next Tuesday morning at 10:31. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that David and I think our numbers have been almost identical the entire way. He launched a day before I did, I think, but we're neck and neck. So I think what it should be is if I do better, he sends me to Mars. Shouldn't that be something?
Remember, James, it's not a competition. It's just an exhibition.
Of course, if Dave wins, then maybe I would turn into a cannibal. I don't know how that would work, so maybe that's not a good idea.
Dave, I'm with you. It's not a competition. It's just about who's better, right? That's how life works, right?
I'm losing a lot of those competitions, I think.
No, it's not a competition at all.
No, it's not. It's not. I'm just having fun. I want a trip to Mars out of it. I was hoping for a stretch goal that I could somehow win, but we'll see.
You know, it's really not all it's cracked up to be. It's kind of like a dirty beach with a red tint.
The sea of perpetual ineptitude.
I do want to make note of there's somewhere in there. There's a Cthulhu Shoggoth print that if you back Tyler's campaign and mine, you get a free print the old Sea Monkey ad from the 60s, the 50s and 60s. We did a Lovecraftian version of that.
That's cool. That's cool.
That's awesome. So that's for people who back House of Fear and C is for Cthulhu.
Yep. And I think C is for Tyler, what, 48 hours left?
Yeah, that'll be till Saturday at midnight. So cancel your weekend plans. But actually, we announced, I think, yesterday that our 70K stretch goal is we will make we're going to do a Shoggoth plush.
Oh, nice.
To add to the family as well. So maybe that'll give me another reason to plug House of Fear.
Yeah, there you go.
Awesome.
I love the way everybody pronounces these. Tyler and I talked about this the other day, but you say Shoggoth, I say Shoggoth or Shoggoth, and I don't know. Cthulhu.
Yeah. We have the biggest complaint of the alphabet book was parents finding themselves tongue-tied and can you even read from their parents when they get through some of the harder names in the book. So in the digital deluxe updated version, we included a pronunciation guide.
That's great. I didn't know that.
Well, the print looks great. The book looks great. I'm a big fan of House of Fear. I know my son is. I can highly recommend it to anybody with a kid in that age range, or even if you're just an adult that likes scary stories. Check it out. Awesome, good stuff, James. Let's jump over to Mr. Robert Krish and see what he's got going on. What's up, dude?
Hey, man, how you doing?
Good. How are you? Thank you for being so patient.
No, sure, that's fine. I've had to turn my camera off a few times because I have a huge glass of water here, and I just keep going through it. And so I've been running to the restroom several times.
Is it water with air quotes?
This one is just water, but I've been needing a stiffer drink, but I didn't want to run away. And I wanted to be ready to go here. So,
well, Rob, I'm really glad that you said that because I've got two big glasses of water that I've been drinking, and I've had to pee for the last hour and a half. So,
Clay, you should realize by now that you just invest in a pair of Depends and you're good.
Is that what you did on the trip to Mars?
Yeah, of course. Obviously,
is that the secret?
Do that. Yeah,
you got to do it. You got to do it. Right. I should have done that. I should have done that. All right. So
we better wrap this up fairly fast before you piss your pants. So,
no, you know what I was going to suggest. I'm going to go backstage. I'm going to use the green room bathroom. We put a urinal in there. And so I'll be back, but you all talk amongst yourselves. Rob, you talk about Turner Family Terrors because it's an awesome book, and I'm gonna race back here from the green room, to chat about with you. But Moana, if you want to pull up, it's Turner Family Terrors. Do we have a pretty link for that? Anywhere in the private chat?
I have the Kickstarter link, but I think just TurnerFamilyTerrors.com goes there. But the link is there if Moana, you want me to post it again?
She's got it. She's on it. She's so good. Now you are funded. You had a $3,000 goal. You're at 4247 with 111 backers. You are rocking it, my friend.
Yeah.
And So talk about this book. I'm going to head backstage. Somebody talk to Rob about this excellent book, and then I'm going to race back here and talk to him about it.
Clay, go urinate. Do not leave your mic on.
Nice.
And Robert, this is a not safe for work book, kind of.
Yeah,
really.
it's kind of like
it's
kind of like a PG. All these characters in the stories are pretty much, they live in like a PG-13 world, so it's just a lot of good fun. But there's the occasional F-bomb floating around and the occasional inappropriate adult situation. So I have not let my kids read this. Although when I was doing my Kickstarter video, my kids make a cameo at the end and they like hold up the comic and they say how great the comic is. And it's like a little gag that we came up with. And as we were actually shooting it, my son started to read it and he was like pointing to a few things in the comic. And I kind of had to like snatch the comic from him. But they were great helping me out with that. But Turner Family Terrors, it is a horror comedy family adventure. I think The Simpsons meets Hellboy. It's got a little bit of a kind of a whimsical Scooby-Doo look to it. The humor.
There's a Kyle Roberts cover variant.
Yeah, I was going to talk with Clay about that. I was all queued up to talk to Clay about about Kyle and about the blazing blade of Frankenstein, and then he goes and takes a piss. So
we can come back to it.
Yeah, I'll wait on that one. But I think my main influence is Mel Brooks's Young Frankenstein, and it's that kind of old school black and white horror monster look crossed with an absurd over the top comedy. And that's kind of what I'm going for. And we have our main interior illustrator is Ski Bozic, based out of Novi Sad, Serbia. And then we have we worked with 5 other artists this time around, maybe 6. We always like to bring in cover artists, pinup artists, and I just love collaborating, and I like finding artists that I see my friends' books, and I'm like, I want to work with that guy, and then for this time I was able to. A lot of guys I found in Nightmare Theater. The one that's up right now, I don't know if you can scroll a little bit up.
Is that Carlos Trigo?
It's Carlos Trigo.
Oh,
yeah.
He did Peter Murrieta's story in the first Nightmare Theater.
He did, yeah.
Ahead of Joaquin.
The head of Joaquin, cool. Exactly. So I got Nightmare Theater in the mail one week. I saw this and I said, oh man, I saw Head of Joaquin and I was like, that guy's fantastic. I want to work with that dude. And then a week later, I got Mandrill P.I., Christopher Bremage's book in the mail. And I was like, oh, I love this art. I got to work with this guy. And then it was like 2 weeks later when I was looking at my notes, I was like, oh, it's the same dude. And so I contacted him and he was able to bang out one of our variants. This one I've sort of like labeled the variants, like I branded them. And this one was our Cthulhu Attacks variant because I figured I'd have to, it's a Kickstarter. So I got to figure out a way to put the word Cthulhu sort of somewhere in there. Well done. But I kept, but you talk about Cthulhu being hard to spell. Like I screwed up the friggin' spelling so many times on it. Now I know how to spell it. But with my Kickstarter rewards and stuff, I had to keep like reprogramming them because I was messing it up.
That's how you learn.
What?
That's how you learn.
That's how you learn,
exactly.
And
you correct them.
Yeah. So then, Moana, if you could scroll up just the other way, or scroll, yeah, keep going that way. So that one right there. Well, this one here is by Easton Hawke. He is a wonderful artist who sort of he does a lot of American cryptid monster work, And so he did the cover for issue 2, back for issue 3. And then if you scroll down, you can see the variant with that Kyle Roberts did. And this was another example. I was checking out Clay's last project, which was awesome, The Blazing Blade of Frankenstein. And there was a pinup that you guys did. It was like the Empress.
Yeah.
And I saw that and I was like, oh, that's great. I got to work with that guy. And so so I saw in the rewards that there was a reward tier that the artist, Kyle Roberts, was doing inks. So I was like, cool, I'm all over that. So I got that reward. And what's great about it is that you get those rewards and they like have to work with you. And so Kyle, so I was able to snag Kyle, and we just collaborated. I did a lot more research on like Art Nouveau, and we just collaborated on something. And then I'll give a shout out to Tyler again and his wonderful community at Comics Launch Pros. I met Wes Hartman, who does the Savage Sasquatch, and he did the colors for me. So it was great. So just on one cover, I was able to work with 2 artists that I admire, and I'm into their stuff. And so so it was a great great collaboration, and it came out great. And we were on with Kevin Joseph on Explain Yourself. And he wanted this copy, and he wanted the other 2 issues, issue 1 and issue 2. And I didn't have a tier specifically designed for that. And so I made like the Kevin Joseph tier just for that. And like the next day, like 3 or 4 other people got the Kevin Joseph tier. So that was pretty nice. So yeah, listen to your fan base, and if there's somebody out there who likes something, why not make another tier and tell everybody and see what happens. So, but yeah,
there's a lot of people live by the what would Kevin Joseph do philosophy.
Yes, we all need a Kevin Joseph tier.
Well, I think that's important to note. I would assume that anyone that has a series, it's important to have a tier that people can catch up, at least digitally. But like, people want that physical thing too. If they like it, they're going to want to go back and get 1, 2, 3, etc.
And we had a physical catch up that was our standard covers, and so this one it was a specific for this particular variant, and that variant has been resonating with their fans. So it's like, okay, that's the one. And so
it's beautiful. Yeah.
Let's make another tier and see what happens. So
how much?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, how much time do you have left on the clock?
We have 21 days, 22 days. We funded in 72 hours. Woo-hoo. And it's interesting with this one. I don't know. You set these kind of like arbitrary number goals. And for the last campaign, we doubled our revenue. We doubled our backers. For this one, I would love to, if we crossed 200 backers, that would be somewhat of a milestone. We're on pace to do better than that. So we'll see how it goes, but it's just fun. I love being on Kickstarter. I love meeting new creators. Like today was Newton. I saw Newton's stuff, and I checked out his page, and I was like, I think I recognize this. And then I was like, did he do a short in Nightmare Theater? And so I went back and I was like, oh yeah. And I have my little copy right here. And I remember being really impressed by the story and blown away by the art. So I was like, okay, I got to pick up this guy's book. And
And of course, as you know, almost everyone had a story in Nightmare Theater. So
yeah. And I think I've backed everybody.
Right.
I think I'm going broke this month. There's so many good books that are on Kickstarter this month and that are going to be launching at the beginning of June. It's just fantastic. So it's for every dollar I make with my Kickstarter, I'm spending like 10 on books.
It's all going to backing. Hey, we got to get Tyler and Moana in Nightmare Theater 3. So let's start thinking about your pitches now, guys.
We got a little extra time. It's Nightmare Theater 3D in 2023, so there's a little more time. But yes,
you got some time to think about it. Well, I'm a big fan of Turner Family Terrors. You have a pull quote from me on the page.
Yeah, it's the first one right up there.
Nice. Yeah,
I think I have pull quotes from Schrader. I think Tyler James made it somewhere, and I'm sure I'll be tracking down James and other fine creators. But yeah, thank you for that. And
the book's really, really funny, and like dark and twisted and sick, and like in all the best ways, in the ways that I love. So,
thank you.
If you're a fan of Rick and Morty, or some of those The Simpsons, that kind of humor, Treehouse of Terror, but a little more adult, right? More the Rick and Morty vein. This is a lot of fun. Your story for Nightmare Theater was great. In fact, I was talking to my mom tonight, and she was talking about her brother just bought a house, and she kept talking about how it had good bones. And I kept thinking of your story in Nightmare Theater, which is called Good Bones.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
It's good stuff. So everybody check out.
So you're scrolling through our different tiers. That's one of our physical ketchup tier. This is the Art Nouveau variant ketchup tier. This is the Kevin Joseph tier you're passing by right now. And this was the first campaign that I have like a lot of tiers. Like I usually keep it simple, but this one I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put every single variation. Oh, there's the Nightmare Theater tier. You can grab all of the Turner Family Terror stories that are in print. You can get that there. I think there's 5 of those. You can be drawn into the comic. So we have now something on the lines of 25 different backers that have been like dismembered or somehow made their way into the comic. And we have 2 more that we got one through BackerKit and we got one through our campaign. So we'll be drawing 2 more. I haven't made myself a comic yet, to this one, so I think I'm going to figure out a way to do that. And there's my daughter. Every campaign we do a silly tier where she cuts my hair. And so she will probably shave it all off this time around. But yeah, so we're having fun. It's the
book's a ton of fun.
Yeah, and we're meeting a lot of people this time that, like, for the past couple of campaigns, I've kind of leveled up. I owe a lot to Tyler James, about leveling up on your Kickstarters. And the past couple of campaigns, I didn't quite have the mental bandwidth to kind of go out there and do live streams and pods and all that kind of stuff. But this time around, I'm meeting a lot of people. I was hanging out with Bitsy Tandem earlier today in Japan, checking in with Japan and getting some cultural insight in there.
Cultural exchange.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's fun. It's fun to get out there and meet some people and check out their work and show them what I've been up to.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. And TurnerFamilyTerrors.com. Everybody head on over and back the book. And Yeah, I'm gonna. So I know we're all dying to go to bed. I'm gonna yap about my book for just a little bit. I
I'm
called
sorry,
you
Clay.
all
We're
here.
out of time, guys. Okay.
Hey, man, I gotta go. I'll see you later. Okay.
Everybody's out. You are all captives now. Moana, first of all, thank you so much for sticking around. I know it's super late for you there on the East Coast.
You're welcome.
And you're running the show here with the stream there. So for my book, you can go to friedcomics.com/PBOW. This is another one that's maybe not safe for work. No, I mean, there's no nudity or anything like that in this book, but it's a little on the adultish side. So check it out. Here we are. So this is the second volume of PBOW, which stands for Pregnant Bitches of War, and it's a crazy book that I came up with my co-writer Alexander O'Philippe, probably like 12 or 13 years ago. It actually grew out of our other book, Deadskins, which we brought to Kickstarter the last couple of years. And there was a subplot there that ended with a bunch of pregnant ladies holding guns. And we were like, oh my God, that should be our next book. It should be Pregnant Bitches of War. And then we were like, well, wait a minute. That's such a terrible title. How can we make this good? So we came up with this plot. It's about 6 pregnant women who are sucked from the time stream by inventor Nikola Tesla. They accidentally kill a young Hitler and make the world worse. And now they have to save the world from a hell of their own creation by defeating the evil exalted father before their water breaks. And that's the ticking clock. And this is volume 2. Volume 1 came out. We released it on Amazon and Comixology and sold through our website. And it got a great response. It was kind of a little cult hit. And so we're coming back for volume 2, which is World War Bitch. And it's just as insane as the first volume, possibly even more. You can see we got a little mecha kaiju werewolf there. We did a book called Refried Comics, where we took this was a few years ago. We took some public domain comic books. We stripped all the word balloons out, and then we rewrote the comic improv style, just giving them all new word balloons. And one of the characters that came out of Refried Comics was a guy named Captain Werewolf. And Captain Werewolf seemed to be a hit with people, so we decided to bring him back. We brought him back in this issue of PBOW. So this is the return of Captain Werewolf, and well, you can see he's got a friend, a little mecha kaiju friend. So I don't know what else about. Somebody asked me a question about this book because I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. Kevin Joseph calls it courageous F-wordery. He enjoyed the first volume. And
is there a Kevin Joseph tier?
There really should be. So I need to talk to him and find out exactly what Kevin wants. I'll find that out. What would Kevin Joseph do? I'll find out. This is Gustav. Gustav is an albino alligator with a very curious appetite. He only eats a certain part of the male anatomy. So here he is attacking Thomas Edison. And that's Thomas Edison wearing a dress because he's trying to fool Gustav, the albino alligator who only likes to eat certain parts of the male anatomy. And you can see
this is a children's book, right, Clay?
This is a board book. Okay. Yep. There's
plush toys and everything.
We got the Gustav plush toys coming. Yeah, you can see when he sees something he wants to eat, his eyes turn into little hearts. So you can see that there. So So we got that going on. Now this page you can see here. This is a character actually from Red Xmas, which is our book that's out from Scout Comics. So the Fried universe is all coming together here. So this is a character from Red Xmas. It's an alternate timeline character. So this is not the same timeline as Red Xmas, but it's a different timeline. He's a wannabe elf who is a member of a secret order of I guess former elves who worked for Santa Claus. That's a little subplot we have going on. If you scroll down, Moana, you can see the new issue. It starts with you can keep going down just a little bit further on. Yeah, a little more. Yeah, here we go. So the Exalted Father, he's the big bad. He's the evil dictator who's basically taken over the world. The only free country in the world is the United States of Korea. And so he's in conflict with the United States of Korea. The PBOWs, because they showed up during this great war and killed Hitler. They are this force to be feared, and there's this prophecy that the PBOWs are going to return. It's going to be the end of the Exalted Father's reign. So he wants to summon a demon to help him win this war against the PBOWs and just lock everything down, get rid of the United States of Korea. So he gets Aleister Crowley to summon a demon for him. So if you scroll down some more, you can see that he's successful in summoning the demon. If you want to keep scrolling there, and that's his face. That's what it looks like when he's not wearing a potato sack. But he successfully summons this demon. Keep scrolling. And there's the demon right there. It's Santa Claus. So this is, as we said, it's an unofficial sequel to Red Xmas. So at the end of Red Xmas, Santa's gone nuts. They defeat him. His spirit leaves, and this is where his spirit is summoned to. And the Exalted Father is not happy about getting Santa Claus for a demon. Not exactly what he was expecting. So does the book sound as nuts as it just sounded coming out of my mouth? Like,
yes, it does.
Sounds awesome.
Just a little bit.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Yeah, bring it.
Yeah, what's in the blind box?
Oh, I can't tell you, Newton. I can't tell you specifically, but I can tell you that the blind box will include at least $75 worth of value. Lots of different Fried comics, past and present. I think we say you'll definitely get all three covers that we have for this, or well, we got two covers and I got a sketch cover. And so I think you'll get at least the two covers. You might get the sketch cover. There might be signed books, rarities from the Fried Comics vault. That is our variant cover, featuring artwork by Valentina Pinti. I hope I'm pronouncing all of this correctly. She's working on some great books right now. She's doing I believe it's Red Sitha, which is like a Red Sonja spinoff. And her partner is Francesco Segala. That's on colors. The regular art team on the book is Fabio. I always slaughter the pronunciation because it's Italian, and they always make fun of the way I say it, the American version. But then they really make fun of me when I try to make it Italian. But it's Fabio Ramacci and Ilaria Chiocca. I did a terrible job. I'm sorry, guys. Please forgive me. If we ever meet up in person, you can slap me for slaughtering your names. But they're fantastic. They're the art team from Red Xmas. They're back for this volume of PBOW, and they're just killing it. They're doing a great job. And yeah, we got so it is volume 2, but you can get volume 1 if you only want volume 1, you can get that digitally or a physical copy. You can get volume 1 and volume 2. You can get only volume 2 if you've already read volume 1 and you just want volume 2. You can get that digitally or in print. We got the blind boxes, as Newton says. I'm doing sketch covers. I'm doing terrible Frida sketch covers. I'm not an artist. That's our all-star breakfast tier digital. So you can get the entire Fried Comics library for $45, which is a steal when you consider the individual price of all those books. So great stuff in there. Blazing Blade of Frankenstein, Dead Skins, Refried Comics, Red Xmas, the fried version, which is a little bit different from the version put out by Scout Comics. And then Frida, as you can see with the icon there, she's our hostess character. She runs the Fried Diner. She keeps us all in line, and I will be doing terrible sketches of Frida, as you can see an example there. Not an artist, not remotely an artist, but I will draw you just an absolutely god-awful sketch of Frida on your book. I'll deface it if you so desire. And then we also have beyond the blind box, we do have the box of fries where you can get print copies of Red Xmas along with PBOW. You can supersize your box of fries, and we will also throw in Dead Skins. That's going to be Frida's choice of cover, depending on what we have in stock there in the Fried vaults. And we just added commissions. So Fabio can do a character of your choice. He can do something like this guy on the left, who is not remotely Punisher. I'm pretty sure that red splotch is Cthulhu. So definitely not Punisher, but he can do whatever character you want. And then, or you can do something a little more complicated if you want to negotiate with him for maybe a little bit more money, but single character commissions. And the original art is available as well. So we've got 21-ish days left. We end in 3 weeks, I think. And we're about 60% of the goal, somewhere around there. So there's plenty of time left on the clock there, but also plenty of room for more if you want to jump in and just get just an absolute crazy story. So yeah, somebody ask me a question or somebody else talk, because I'm bored of my own voice.
Nice job, Clay. It's a good looking campaign. Everyone's campaign looks great.
Oh, thanks, Dave. I bet you say that to everybody.
And you did a good job running this whole thing, even though you got a big assist from Moana. Thank you, Moana.
Yes, thank you, Moana. Yeah. So listen, I put in the chat, so friedcomics.com/PBOW. We've got TurnerFamilyTerrors.com. Check out House of Fear on Kickstarter. There's the actual link. All these links are in there. We got Cannibals on Mars, right? We got collectors on Kickstarter.com. We have the Comics Launch Podcast, and then of course xmas.cisforcthulhu.com to get the new board book there. Keisha.rocks, she does indeed, and MoanaTheAuthor.com. Did I miss someone going back through there? I was trying to pick through all the comments and see who we had there. Did I miss anybody?
I think you got it all.
Wow, I got it all. All right. Well, listen, thank all of you fantastic creators, not only for showing up to this ungodly long live stream. Thank you for hanging in. Thank you for just making great comics. Thanks for making great stuff. I'm inspired by all of you. Anybody who puts themselves out there, who creates something and puts it out for people to check out. It's not easy. It's not easy, as all of you can attest. And so I'm really inspired by all of you, and I'm just extremely grateful that you joined me. And everybody should back all of your books. It's an amazing group of creators. So unless somebody has a parting shot they want to deliver, we can end this thing and go to bed.
I just want to say thanks, Clay, for all of this.
Thanks, Clay.
The whole screenshot thing, I was lost. I felt like an old man while I was trying to figure it out. And, it was good meeting a lot of you guys in person. Eddie, James, Robert. I've already met David and Tyler and Clay and Moana, so I'm not going to say anything about these guys. It was good.
Everybody back everybody else's book out there, okay?
Definitely.
It was a real pleasure talking with all of you and meeting all of you. And thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming, everybody. And thank all of you for watching out there. We'll post links and updates to the replay. You can catch us on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure on Facebook too. So thanks for watching, everybody. Good night. Go to bed, everybody. Back some comics.
Yeah. It's money on Kickstarter.
Bye.
Take care.
See you, everybody.
Thanks, Clay.